Hello, everyone. How are you? It is Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we are here for Just Like You, everyday people, amazing stories. Thank you so much for joining us. We are here every Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, celebrating amazing people with amazing stories. So if you have a story, and we all have a story, so we know you do, please make sure you get in contact with me. I would love to have you on the show. If you know someone who has a story, I would love to have them on the show. So just hook us up and I'll take it from there. So we have a great story for you today. I'm so excited. This is episode number 37. So episode number 37. Thank you so much for all your support. This is about showing love and positivity. And like I said, if you have a story, I'd love to have you on the show. Just a quick housekeeping issue. If the internet, for whatever reason, doesn't let us be great, we will be back. We are here 7:30 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time every Tuesday. So if something happens with the internet, we will be back. Make sure you tune in. This episode will be on my IGTV. It'll be on my YouTube. I'm also going to send it to my guest for him to have it on his IGTV and his social media, so you can view it at any time. Again, make sure you're checking out all those sites, and we have an amazing show for you today. Let's see, Mr. Jasmine, if I can get you on here. Go live with, Jasmine, I think you may need to, it says unable to join. So I think there might be a setting situation, or maybe you can try to request yourself in. Make sure your settings are public and that you can be requested in. If not, maybe try to request yourself to come on, and then I can hit you in. But when I try to request you in, it says unable to join. So try to fiddle around there with your settings and see if you can join. Stefan, you are able to join, so maybe tell Jasmine what your settings are, because I can bring you in, but I can't bring Jasmine in. So, and Jasmine, I'm bringing you in under your main initiative. So check your settings, my friend, and let me know. I'll keep trying, and you can keep trying to request yourself in as well. So again, guys, this is episode number 37, Just Like You, everyday people, amazing stories. We are here 7:30 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time every Tuesday. And I just can't believe it's episode number 37. I started this just on a wing and a prayer, and it has just been gaining legs and gaining momentum and positivity. I think our world needs that right now. So thank you so much for everyone who's contributing to the show, who's coming on the show and being a guest, and everyone who is listening to the show as well. Again, we just want to, share, and we all have a story. So everyone that's on the show, let's try it again here, Jasmine. Everyone that's on the show has a story, and you have a story too. And let's see if it's working, Mr. Jasmine. Jasmine, are you there? Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
How are you, my friend?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. You can hear me and
Yeah,
see me okay?
I can. Yes, I can.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for agreeing to join us. Like I was telling guests, if something happens with our internet, we will be back 7:30 to 8 p.m. If the internet doesn't let us be great for whatever reason, we'll be right back.
Hey, how you doing? Okay.
Oh, I
Sounds good.
hear an echo of me. Is that me or
Y-
you?
Nah, that's me. It's interesting because I can't connect through my computer, so I'm actually talking to you through my phone, and so it picked up on the back end of my computer.
That's always great when there's two or three of me. I love it. Well, thank
It's all
you
right.
so much for being on the show. Just for everybody listening again, we will be here 7:30 to 8 p.m. If something happens, we'll be back. If something happens with the internet, we have a great show for you today. I love it when men come on the show because, they get a chance to share their journeys. As I was saying, the promo post, if you want to be inspired, if you want to be empowered, listen in to today's story about someone who I guess I'd say, I don't want to tell your journey, but like I said, you're building community and learning about self. So I think that is amazing. So we will, go ahead started, Jasmine. I'm going to try to keep track of comments or any questions that come in for you. And again, I'm going to make sure for all listening from Jasmine's page, he's going to have this interview as well. As soon as we hang up, he's going to have it for himself to post on his IG or whatever he needs to do with it. And then I'm also going to send it to YouTube, so we'll have all those links. So, Mr. Jasmine, we talked ourselves, and you, like I said, I just want to thank you for coming on the show and being that voice. I am excited, but from a heartfelt, because I think this is a story about gosh, a lot of things, right? Survival, grit, tenacity, all those things. But I'm just so happy to have a man on the show, because I think it's so important that our men share their stories. So give us a little bit about, your journey and what makes you here. Give us your journey.
Yeah. Well, first, Taryn, thank you for inviting me to be a guest on your show. I think the work that you're doing is amazing, and I know that you'll be blessed because of it. So I just want to, give you kudos for the work that you're doing and stepping out on faith, and just sharing your passion and love for people, and hearing their stories and giving them a platform to share. So I just want to, salute you for that.
Thank you.
It's a very interesting story. I let's put it this way. I know that I have a kingdom call on my life when it comes to men, especially Black men. And a lot of it has to do with me being able to provide a lot of what I didn't have, growing up. And not just growing up as a child to become a man, but also growing up while being a man. I think there's different stages and different layers. But I'll share that, I'm a Black man who at the age of 5 was molested by his babysitter. A young man who, when his mother and father divorced, moved into a home with 10 women, being the only boy. That's at that point. That's where I learned emotion. Learned how to cry. Learned a lot of things based on broken relationships, broken marriages. As I got older, because of the divorce, moving from being in a situation where my father was in the military at that time, and when he and my mother divorced, we ended up moving back to rural northeastern North Carolina. And if you're familiar with North Carolina at all, for my North Carolina peeps out there, living on the rural northeastern side of the state, that's the poorest part of the state. So resources are very limited. Grew up in an area where there was a great degree of poverty there, drugs, alcohol, prostitution, etc. Also, transitioning through high school, growing up in an era where, not too many father figures are around. You had your athletic coaches, but, in some cases, some of the coaches and, those figures are kind of dipping and dabbing in some of the same things that you were dipping and dabbing into, But I had a strong and praying mother, who pretty much kept me in line, who was my mother and my father during those times. But also, I'm a young man who went to college, was dismissed from his first institution that he attended. I started out at UNC Greensboro, and unfortunately, I was dismissed from UNC Greensboro after my freshman year. And thank God, I was allowed to transfer to North Carolina Wesleyan, where I finished my career, my academic undergrad career. Also, during that time, I also learned a level of responsibility when it came to, being able to bounce back or making some decisions that weren't the best, that put me in some tough situations. And then leaving undergrad and then transitioning out, starting to work in the area of public health, and then transitioning to higher education. During that time of being in higher education, starting out, I started to realize that I had a deeper love for young people, especially college students and Black men in college. when I was an undergrad, I joined Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. I was a member of Student African American Brotherhood. Did work study, interacting, and I did work study actually for the men's basketball team when I was an undergrad. So I was around a lot of men, especially black men in general, and understanding the value of education, and then, but also understanding that there are a lot of brothers out there who had gone through some of the same things that I had gone through. So if I could put a pin in that right there, transitioning out, finishing undergrad, going into graduate school, working in higher education, I started a counseling program. And once I was in my counseling program, I obtained my counselor education degree from North Carolina State, all while working in higher education. But throughout that whole process, I've always, like I mentioned, had a love for higher education, black males, black male success, but also black men who had been dealing with a lot of emotional and social and psychological issues.
Mhm.
And what I what I what I come to find out was I was dealing with my love and passion for that came from the fact that there were some things that I was dealing with.
Mm.
And what I was dealing with, I could never put a name to. I remember from the time I was at a young age, I used to have these moods, alterations, up and down. Could never really understand why I always felt in a down mood. And never could really identify exactly why I was feeling the way that I was feeling, you know. Um, but I do remember those moments of when I felt like, I didn't feel worthy. I didn't feel like I needed to be here on this earth. Um, and it lasted for years and years until roughly about, it's 2021 right now. I say about 2017,
Mhm.
2016. And I found myself, man, on the couch in my apartment, man, about to blow my brains out, you know? Um, Things had gotten that low. And, but by the grace of God, he was just like, nah, I'm not going to let you go out like that. And so I went to see a psychiatrist, um, to kind of, just kind of have those conversations and sit on the couch and just really, kind of talk this thing out, go through a number of assessments, et cetera. And to put a name to it, I was diagnosed with bipolar depressive disorder. And so at that point, in finding out what was really going on was at the same time I found out that I become liberated.
Mm.
And through that liberation, I also realized that there are a lot of other brothers who may have been dealing with some challenges as a result of whatever type of trauma they may have witnessed, whether, growing up in broken homes, the level of violence. Trauma comes in so many different forms. And so, I just knew that there was a space for me to be an advocate for other brothers who needed a place where they could feel safe, somebody that would be a champion for their
Mhm.
psychosocial and emotional health, for them to be good and to be healed and to be able to be um, liberated in a way that wouldn't be judged. They wouldn't be judged, and so that's pretty much my story. Like now, for now, that's what I know that my calling is to be um that champion for especially black men,
Mhm.
um in black men, black male achievement, black men being able, if somebody asks them, you good, bro, you can actually say yeah and you mean it. So
So I have so many questions. We'll go with the one that sent you, but there's probably more. I'm sure we'll definitely have to have you back on the show. But the next question I had texted you was, what advice would you give someone? But I'm going to change that up a little bit because I heard
okay.
your story, and I think people, I think about it like you said. When you think about men, and since you're specifically going, with black men, what gave you like the courage? I say advice, but when I'm hearing you say, it's more turning into courage to me, because I feel like, what gave you the courage to even seek self? Lots of times, and even, all of us, right? But in particularly, like I said, lots of times we don't hear a lot of men and black men, as you're speaking to, you know, seeking self, right? What gave you that courage? Because I'm sure that, ego came there, pride came there, a lot of things could have stood in your way, but you took something, and said, I got to figure this out. You know, I got to figure out me. What gave you that courage?
I've always had a heart for other people. I remember one of my closest friends growing up. I remember like it was yesterday. We were washing the car outside of his house. This is by the time we were about 25, 26. And he said to me, he said, Jazz, you know, I think I started to understand exactly something you said back when we were in high school. Now, mind you, this is roughly almost 10 years ago, and I know where he was going. But Rail was like, you know, I remember you saying that you feel like the only reason that you're placed on this earth was to just help other people and not to care about yourself. And for me, it's you know, it always has just been about others, helping others, you know. And I realized to myself that if I don't say something, me saying something is not for me, it's for other people and other men and other men who feel the same way that I do. Because I feel like if I felt the way that I felt and I was dealing with the things that I was dealing with, there's no way possible I could be dealing with this by myself. And there are other men out there who are dealing with it, and that if I got to be the one to expose myself and my trauma, my experiences for other men to be healed, then I'll be that, you know. I've had a conversation. I've actually been in arguments. And I had this as part of a description in one of my social media profiles, and I had martyr on there. And I feel like that at times, you know, that, you know, whatever it's going to take for the next man to be good in the sense of holistic being good, then I'll do what I got to do, you know. I'll do what I got to do. It's kind of like my favorite Bible verse is John 15:13, where it reads that, you know, there's no greater love than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends, you know. And so that right there pretty much kind of sums it up, that I just had it wasn't necessarily the courage for me to do it. It was like, I have to do this, you know. And at the same time be liberated in the same process, you know. So
I see a comment. We've had a few comments, but this most recent one, Aisha, maybe how says transparency is a part of true leadership. And, you know, I think that goes to kind of what you were saying, just being yourself, you know, and putting yourself out there. And, you know, knowing that if you know, put yourself out there, you're serving others, right? And I think being transparent about your story is, like she said, like being a true leader and being authentic. So, you know, I think that, but I still that I applaud you for the courage to do that. You know, that takes a lot. What, you know, there could be someone listening or that's gonna listen that might think, can they do it? Right? Like, well, you know, he did it, but can I do it? And there's a million reasons why I can't. Right?
Right.
There's definitely out there who's, you know, thinking all those similar thoughts that you thought when you were sitting on that couch, you know, saying, I can't get up anymore. I'm not going to do this. What would you kind of tell them? You know, I mean, what would you maybe tell them to give them? They're at a crossroads. They're a right or a left. What advice would you give them?
First, let me say to Aisha, what's up, Aisha? Aisha's a true champion for holistic health, period, you know, and the work that she's doing, especially with girls and women. The advice I would give them is to just, you know, do it when you're ready. Because that's one thing, when you're ready, do it. Don't do it because anyone else has asked them to do it, or have pressured them to do it, you know. Because this is not something you can just do on your own either, you know. I have some good friends, some good solid brothers, who I before I even took that step, I talked to them first. It wasn't something that I just said, you know, I'm gonna just tell the world, you know. It was a process. And so, you know, that is my number one that is my advice for anyone that is feeling like they can't do it, because you can do it, but you need support. You're going to need some support. As much as, I could easily, just come out and just share all of my experiences, my diagnoses, everything, the molestation, the violence I've seen, the misogyny, all of that. I could come out and just share all of that and say I don't care what other people think. Um, but reality is that you got to have a support system also. Um, so definitely, I would say have a good support group, and so that when you do take that first step, that you have a good solid foundation. For me with Christ, but also a good solid foundation of advisors and folks that are in your corner. So
So I think that's a good one. Do it when you're ready. I think again, it takes that courage, but timing, they say, could be everything, right? And I think
right,
to build that wall, or I don't say wall, but like you said, I think your words are better, support system um, around you is so important, because you're going to need that, right? Because you're going to shake. You're going to shake through the process. Your house is going to shake.
right,
To make sure you're built on, you quoted the Bible, you're built on solid ground, right? Because
correct.
you're gonna shake, and so you need that. And that earth that comes, you're gonna need some people to fall back on. Now, I want you to just talk a little bit. You kind of mentioned you good bro, and I think that is important, because lots of times, you hear men, say all the time, "You good, bro?" Yeah,
Yeah,
and I
right.
think that's not only just a great term, if you will, but tell us a little bit more about that and how that comes into what you're doing. Because I think you probably, like you said, no, your question is, "You good, bro?" Like, are you really good?
Right.
Do you mean that? So tell us more about that.
Yeah, UGB, and shout out to my UGB certified brothers that's watching this live. Especially my co-host for the You Good Bro podcast, Stephen McGee and Kenneth Joyner. So shout out to those brothers. Um, You Good Bro actually came from so I have an organization called the Main Initiative, which stands for Males Addressing Issues and Needs. And out of the Main Initiative, we're doing work like with Stephen. Stephen is the CEO and founder of Masterminds at Work Incorporated. So we're doing some joint ventures together for the youth, for going to back to school backpack drives. We had also had our annual main summit that the Main Initiative had done, which was for high school kids going into college. But we also needed something for Black men, and so on Saturdays, for third Saturday mornings, needed to identify a location where brothers could come together and have real, honest, true, transparent conversation about the matters of being a Black man and trying to navigate society. But want to do it in a safe space where there is no judgment, where brothers can speak their truths and talk about those things that we just don't talk about. And it was You Good Bro, and it is the notion of, it's easy to ask a brother, "Yo, you good, bro?" And he'd be like, "Yeah, I'm good." But
Mhm.
then you ask him a question about, well, how are things going at work, or how are things going on at the house, and they flip just like that. You know what I mean? So technically, you are good, bro. So let's talk about that. Let's address that. Let's see if we can kind of work through that. And so what that did was it gave brothers a opportunity and something to look forward to. And I will coin it as it's the world's number one convening for Black men, to be in a place of for true transparency, vulnerability, and being in a
Mhm.
safe space. Um, and ultimately, it's solution focused, and where brothers also hold each other accountable for those things that they truly choose, that they want to do better in. You Good Bro is covered by three pillars: um, partnership, protection, and prayer. And so, we have one of them, which is protection. We talk about and how it's tied to Luke 4, and it talks about Jesus in the wilderness, and he talks about how when Jesus was tempted in the wilderness for 40 days by the enemy, how he fought off the enemy with the word. But the Bible says that the devil left until an opportune time.
Mhm.
And so we understand that there will be opportune times then when the enemy will come back. So the purpose in You Good Bro is to make sure that, while we're there, we get our artillery up, you know what I mean? And so that we know, because we know that warfare is real. And so,
Mhm.
you know, and so that's generally where You Good Bro came from, was just to be able to provide Black men with an opportunity, and a space that they could come in and just, to be healed, and be healed by other men. We operate from the hashtag mental health movement. And if you read between the lines, men heal men. And our slogan, our motto is, let's keep the conversation going, brothers. So,
Aisha says, so I think it's Ken that goat. You're the goat. And
nah, that's Ken. Nah.
Aisha says, all right, take us to church. Take us to church. So, and that's right. I think that, I hear that all the time. I hear that term, like I said, you good, bro. And then you see, good. And you just wonder, like, are you really good?
Yeah.
Are you, and it can be for a lot of us, specifically Black men, but it could be for a lot of us. And Taryn, are you okay? Yeah, I'm okay.
Yeah.
And then you really, you may not be okay. What does that look like to come out and to share, like you said, like, no, I'm not okay, or I'm not good.
Yeah.
And let's talk about that. And that is so hard. It's easy to say and hard to do, right?
Right.
But having the support system and having a platform, or having like you have, like this group and this, I don't know what the word is, like you said, the best way, support system, that does that, I think is just great, to have out there for our men and our Black men to have what's the word I'm looking for? Like a place to go,
right.
A place to share. So believe it or not, we have like 4 minutes left. I know it goes by so fast, but don't worry, guys. We'll have Jasmine back. We have to, we have the rest of our lives to have Jasmine back. She'll be back in a few more months. So what does the future, a safe space? Yeah, that's what I was looking for, Stephan, a safe space. A safe space for men to go. Thank you.
Definitely.
And what does the future hold for you, for Main Initiative, for You Good Bro? What does the future hold? What does the future look like?
Conquering this notion of to have a space where Black men can feel totally comfortable with living in a society where they can be free and liberated for who they really are. To really, to really empower Black men and Black boys, to understand and take their rightful place in society, to dismantle all of the evil that was designed to come our way, and turn it all around, and let the world see that, that we indeed are the kings of this entire world, of this entire universe, that have been have pretty much overlooked, abused, not given the credit that it's due, and to be able to take our rightful place on this planet, and to show and prove and to shine bright, and to be able to do it with our heads high, with our queens behind us, and with our sons and daughters by our side. That is the future. That the world's #1 convener for Black men, for having a safe space for transparency and vulnerability, and You Good Bro is well known and recognized internationally. That the main summit to be virtual this year, that'll take place on April the 16th, which is which will be the world's #1 summit convening for Black men that are in college, and Black males in high school, for personal and professional development. This year, we're focusing on economic empowerment, and emotional intelligence, business entrepreneurship, and the opportunity to understand that there's a level of emotional intelligence that goes along with that, to be owners, but also just to be happy and to be full of joy. You might see the hashtag Black Boy Joy, and that's one of the things that a lot of us as Black boys didn't have, is joy. But as we grow and we get older, that's something that we search for, and that's my hope and prayer, that every Black man can hold his head high and enjoy it in happiness.
Yes, thank you so much. So everybody is saying, we're gonna hit rewind. drop that date and that event 2 more times.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. Well, first, let me throw a plug in there also because the main initiative in You Good Bro is also hosting a free event for high school students called From the Block to the Boardroom, bridging the gap of economic empowerment in today's youth. That'll take place on February the 23rd. You can hit me in my DMs if you need the registration information. But the virtual main summit, we 3 years in, going into year number 4. It was supposed to be held at our convention center, but because of COVID, we're going to be operating virtually. And so again, that'll take place on April the 16th, 2021, year number 4. It will also be the keynote speaker will be Patrick Patterson. He's the president of Global Fathers and Families LLC. He's responsible for about 70 million in grants. One of my mentors, good friends of mine. So yeah, if you're interested, hit me in my DMs. Again, Virtual Main Summit, April the 16th. If you're interested in being a sponsor, being a presenter, or just to participate, just let me know, and we'll make it happen.
And give us your contact for your DMs one more time, just so everybody can
Yeah.
hear.
My main initiative account is for Instagram and for Twitter is Main Initiative, all one word. And for Twitter for You Good Bro is You Good Bro INC and the number 1. And for Instagram, You Good Bro INC. Yep. And for any brothers that are out there that would like to participate and join us for our You Good Bro convening, now that we're operating virtually, we're meeting first and third Saturday mornings from 9 to 11. Again, you can hit me in my DM and we'll make sure that you get the information to join us. For any sisters that's out there that know any brothers, husband, father, brother, etc., that would benefit from being in a safe space to just talk about navigating life as a Black man, please share that information with them as well.
Well, I want to thank you so much. And Jasmine has put all his information out there for you to get a hold of him. My ask is if you're listening or if you're going to listen and you would like to participate, please make sure you contact him. If you want me to contact him, put you guys in contact, I will totally do that. You can send me your information and I'll hook you guys up together. I really appreciate everyone joining us today. If you have a story, and it does sound like we have a lot of people on here who do, please make sure you get a hold of me. I would love to also have you on the show. Stefan's going to be on the show next week. So we look forward to having him as well for our Valentine's Day issue. So that'll be exciting to have him on the show next week. And again, if I could give you a big old hug, I would. A real big, because I just applaud you for so many things, right? I mean, just having the courage, to share is just, like I said, incredible. I think that I want men to hear your story, and I want them to just take in what you're saying. Take a breath and take in what you're saying. Aisha says here, You Good Bro podcast available on major platforms.
Yeah, please go into all of the major platforms. The You Good Bro podcast is there. We're shifting everybody to go to Anchor. Yep. Go to Anchor for the You Good Bro podcast, and please join, support us, subscribe. We just recorded our most recent episode last week, so that'll be dropping very soon as well. And for U-Turn, I need you to send me your address because I got a gift for you. For you and your courage. This is the first logo for You Good Bro. And I know you shared your story with me, and I don't know everybody that knows your story, but I got something for you.
Hugs again. Yeah. Thank you. No, I just, like I said, I mean, I just really applaud you. I want this is about positivity. It's about love. And I think you're doing that, right? You're loving, you're serving, you're sharing positivity. And, that's what I wanted. I wanted guests to come on and share their journeys because, everybody has a story, right? And I think that it just, not everybody's is different. And that's the cool part about it. But what we got going on today, we need to hear some positivity. And we need love. And it sounds like, sometimes it sounds so cliche, but it's so true, right? Like, and it doesn't, I mean, you know, we had half an hour. We shared some positivity. I hope we, you know, touched someone. I know you did, because I see all these comments. Great job, great job, great job. I mean, people love you to pieces. You know, they're reminding you to say everything, right? 20 times. They're like, don't forget to share that. Don't forget to share that. Don't forget to share that. Because it's so important. So this will be on my, Jasmine's going to have it in a second. It's going to be on his story. It's going to be on whatever platform he chooses. I'm also going to send him a YouTube link, so it'll be on YouTube as well. And again,
Wow.
if you have a story, I'd love to have you on the show. Just DM one of us, and I'll go from there. And then if you have any questions for Jasmine, you can get a hold of him via his social, or I can hook you guys up as well. So again, we're back every day, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thank you. Thank you. And I will call you in just a sec. I'm going to get this all situated, and I'll give you a buzz.
All right, sounds good.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Peace.